I guess I'm recording, guys. Welcome back to Higurashi. It's been about almost a month or so since I've done a video. It's just a pain in the ass to get my laptop running like this. But I missed playing, so yeah, here we go. I walked through downtown on my way back to school. All the stores fronts were familiar, nothing had changed. Okay, anything new? But for some reason, there were less people, more stores with their shutters closed. Oh, so I guess space no longer is another enter. Okay. Its apparent state of decline reminded me of New York, not New York, New Year's Eve or New Year's. It was a strange sight during the season when you could hear cicadas crying. I barely passed anyone, and even when old people walked by, they didn't talk to me. Normally, if I met an old person in the middle of the day like this, they asked if I had a cold or was staying home from school, or they start rubbing their prayer beads saying weird things. There was none of that. Just like the old people in the clinic, they reacted with disinterest. Wasn't in the mood for it anyway, so I was thankful they didn't do any of that. But there was already a heap of oddities before me, and I couldn't help but feel like it was growing even bigger. Afternoon break was long over. By the time I got back to school, it was now time for the afternoon classes. I went through the entrance and changed into my slippers, and then I noticed another strange thing. There were a lot of empty shoe copies. Empty was different from absent. Anyone enrolled would leave their slippers or regular footwear in the locker no matter what. And neither were present. That meant they were in the class to begin with. Sometimes people took their slippers home to wash during the weekends, but any lockers being empty during the day was unthinkable. I counted a little over 10 pairs of shoes. That was only half of how many people were in school I knew. Everything was so messed up, I had no idea what was going on. I steeled myself and opened the classroom door. Everyone turned around to look at me. There truly were only half of the familiar faces there, and they weren't absent because only half as many seats were actually in the classroom. For it, I said, please take your seat. Alright, everyone, this is class time, so focus on your drills. She each clapped her hands, and everyone looked back down at their desk and workbooks, ignoring me altogether. My seat. Satoshi was sitting at the desk next to Satoko's. That didn't seem to be my seat. Then where was it? Soon I found an open seat looking small and quiet near the back window. I picked up on the pattern of the floor cushion with the disaster hood in it. That seemed to be reserved for day seats in this world. It was in this corner as though the classroom had forgotten about it. There were no seats next to it, and nobody would see it when looking at the blackboard. In a place where I wouldn't block anyone's view, whether I sat there or not. That seat was almost symbolic of how I'd been feeling ever since I awoke. I sat down and took out my workbook, and then pretending to study, I looked around the classroom. Sanazaki was here. She didn't seem very different. Raina Rigu was here too. The way she was helping the child next see over with his work was very like her. Satoko and Satoshi were studying together as friendly siblings. Satoshi, being the other brother, was teaching her things, but Satoko looked disgruntled in his words. Went in one ear and out the other. To me, it was almost like she didn't hate studying. She just didn't like her roles being reversed, and she looked after him at home, and it made me smile a little. I still felt a tiny pain in my chest from Stoko's cold treatment of me in the nurse's office, but as far as I could tell by looking at her individually, she seemed totally normal. But I still couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong here. When Satoko was with Satoshi, she was up and gloomy because of her problems at home with her aunt's abuse, so they were acting like normal siblings. And no, I knew it was rude I was with Satoko, that felt wrong. But Satoko had a normal life, that was fine. The bigger shock, though, was the absence of the most important person in a group of friends. I looked around the room several times for him, but he wasn't here. Keiichi Mibara wasn't here. I made multiple excuses like I wasn't sitting right or he happened to be absent today, but even though the student on the cleaning duty hanging on the wall didn't have Keiichi's name on it, everyone in the class would have had their names on there, but Keiichi's wasn't. Keiichi Mibara did not exist in this classroom, even though it was June of 1983 in this world. I see. On rare occasions, there would be a world where Kichi hadn't moved here. It wasn't the first time, but it was a sad thing. Kichi was an important key to crushing fate of June 1983. If he was on the game board, then this game was predetermined to be a loss. But was this even a game at all? No, I already know Takano no Saga the Izutu from Tokyo, researching Hinozawa syndrome. If none of them were here, didn't that mean there was nobody at all to fight? If I didn't need to fight, then in a sense, Kichi's absence wasn't an issue. Actually, in this case, June 1983 wasn't fated to be a dead end, and in other words, in this world, the thousand dice all turned up once, and that changed the absolute fate. Takano had constructed their certain willpower into something else. I had no idea what that was. Could this world even be explained by what dots came up on the dice? Or am I? Someone tell me. Obviously unable to focus during class, my head was full of the listless cries of the Mikatas and the feeling of being out of place I couldn't get rid of. Everybody stand up. Bow. Goodbye. Thankfully, Mion was still class president. For some reason, that was a relief. Was there even a club in this world? If I could receive the baptism of those crazy club kings, maybe it would clear up feelings a little. On days we had clubs, she'd always call the numbers right when school ended, expecting that I stayed in my seat as they wouldn't ring out into the hallway. Satoko was one of those who dashed out. She was flying headlong towards the entrance, jostling the other kids her age. Satoshi left too, following behind her. Mion and Rina talked to each other as they got ready to leave. As far as it looked, we didn't have a club. The club was annoying at times, but I yearned for it so much now. There's still no club in this world. As I started to feel lonely, I saw a grin spread across Mion's face before she even approached me. Normally that grin would look gross, but when Mion did it, didn't feel bad. Our eyes met. Thank goodness, even this will have the after-school club it was supposed to. Hey, Rika-chan, I got a moment before you go home. Meep, is it club? The first time since coming to this world, I smiled. I had no idea what was going on in this world, so having one of my hopes come true made me very happy for the moment. No, not that. You're on duty tomorrow, right? Here's the logbook and club. What do you want to be my club too, Rika? Meep. I gleaned two things from Leon's few words. One was that I still wasn't a club member. The other was that even so, the club still existed. For me right now, that was an incredibly happy thought. Then Rika Frederick hereby grant you the permission to join my club. Mei-chan, you're being weird. Rina laughed like it was a funny joke, but why? But even if you're in the same club, you still can't do club things with us. Why not? I mean, your house and my house are in opposite directions, right? Me, when Meow said her club, she probably meant the club of not having a club, the going home club. She must have been saying we went home in different directions, which is why I couldn't do club activities going together with her. In other words, the club doesn't exist in this world either. Me, Chan, can't we have club activities with Rika Chan once in a while? Hmm? But we go in opposite directions. Maybe it's okay from time to time. After I realized I have to go home all alone, Brandon says she leaves school with me. That's kind of consideration was just like the Rena I knew so well. We didn't have club, but Miana and Rena was still Miana and Rena. Sorry, but I'll have to pass. I gotta get back for my job at my uncle's place. Oh, then Rika Chan and I will have our after school going home club. Thank you, Rena. Mm-hmm. The three of us headed for the entrance. Our outdoor shoes were the only ones left. They were less impressive than I remember. Yes, I decided to naturally mention it. Rena responded right away. It's lonely, but what can we do? As they say, you gotta look for a nice big tree when you seek shelter. Anyway, sorry about this, but I gotta get going. I'll leave Rika Chen to escort to you, Rena. Okay. Hey, yes, what is it? Nothing. Rena was the kind of Rena I knew, but her name wasn't Rena. Rena. That was Rena's real name, but in the world I think she's on it aside, which meant she hadn't given up being Rena, or her path leading to today was different from the worlds I knew. I knew Rena hated herself because she considered herself responsible for her mother's divorce, and if she messed up both her life and herself, she would have to decide to part ways with that old Starmissar over rename herself Rena. Well, that didn't happen. That wasn't the only thing I learned from this conversation either. I mean, 30 the numbers of people in this class. When I mentioned earlier there were many people, they acted like there was a reason. They meant the current number of students in this world hadn't been that way from the start. It had decreased to this number. Neon ran off, and Raina and I left school together. When we went across the schoolyard, I saw Satoko fooling around playing tag. Are you looking at Satoko-chan? Meep. Her name was different, but she still picked up on these things quickly. I'm sure Satoko-chan wasn't trying to be mean when she hit you with the ball. Forgive her, okay? I don't really mind. Reina, no. Reina seemed to be trying to smooth it over. It kind of sounded like Satoko and I weren't normally friendly with one another. So I asked, are Satoko and I not friends? Of course you are. You're both in the same class. The way she said that was enough of an answer. Now I knew why Satoko acted so coldly to me in the nurse's office. In this world, Satoko and I weren't friends. Maybe that made sense. After all, Satoshi was alive for a while, and Satoko would spend all her time with him. The reason Satoko and I got to the point we could call close was because Satoko ended up all alone. I asked her to stay at my house, and we started living together. Of course, we were friends before that too, just nowhere near how close we were in 1983. Maybe in the end, our relationship was nothing more than me sitting in Satoshi's empty seat. When I thought about that, when I considered what would happen if Satoshi wasn't around in June 1983, maybe this was the most natural future. With regretful eyes, I watched Satoko for all it's about. Satoko looked like she was having a lot of fun with her other classmates. She would have never noticed me going home from school. I'm going to stop thinking about it so much. Before the true world I need to reach, this world is all but a defective one. I don't need to bother trying to understand a broken world. There's a lot less stores open too. When we went through downtown with all the stores, their shutters down, arena spoke up. I didn't care about this world anymore, but as classmates going home with their innocent unconsciously. I wonder why so many closed up. Well, it makes sense. They can only do business until next year anyway. They're getting less and less customers too. It's not strange that some would want to close up shop early. I want to do business after next year. They can't. They're getting evicted. Evicted. It sucks, but there's nothing we can do. And even if the village sinks, we won't destroy our souls, the ones that belong here. I gave a start when I heard that. I couldn't know it was possible. In every single world, the story of Hinamizawa being submerged under an artificial lake was always present. But the Irie Institute, working from the shadows, would make sure that the dam project was canceled. If there was no Irie Institute around to make them cancel it, that meant the dam project was proceeding as planned. And then the damn well. I heard that they decided to flood this area next year. I think it'll take quite a few days to submerge, but I don't really want to watch. Maybe after all, it's a lake, but watching it go under will be sad. Wasn't anyone opposed to it? At first I were, but we can't be selfish when it comes to helping the nation grow. I don't really understand, but apparently the government people are really nice and talk to us a lot about it. The damn conflict I was hearing during Marina wasn't even a conflict in this world. Everything regarding the dam was completely different from the worlds I knew. They proposed the Hinamizawa Dam project, which was the same as the world's I knew. Relations between the nation who wanted to evict us and the residents who refused gradually worsened and eventually broke down. It snowballed into a dire conflict over the dam, but in this world, it had been different from the very beginning. First off, relations between the country and the village were strong at the very, very beginning, but apparently that was resolved quickly. The Sonozaki and Kimiyoshi families negotiated on the village's behalf. They accepted the conviction on the promise of a large sum of compensation money. I hit my vape. After that, the conversation was between the three families and the villagers. Nobody wanted to part with this soil of their ancestors, but for the villagers who certainly could have been called wealthy, the money the nation would provide was no trivial matter. They worried over to no end, pretty much flew about wondering if Yoshiro-sama's curse would be evolving if they abandoned these lands. But the Friday families had, my father, in other words, declared we couldn't be cursed if we built Yoshiro-sama a new shrine somewhere else and remembered to honor them. Despite many objections, the elderly agreed on a cooling off period of several years. In addition to the compensation money, they demanded the government the movement of the British shrine, the graveyard, and its symbolic trees, in addition to the guarantee of a new place they could call Hinamizawa, and if those requests were fulfilled, they would consider agreeing to the eviction. The nation consented to this. They proposed preferential occupation rights of the reclaimed public housing lands in Shishibone with regards to giving the town a new name, they considered the residents' proposal at most important, and they consented to the movement of the shrine, graveyard, and other locations as well. In conclusion, though there were several years of turmoil, the damn conflict never happened in this world. Everything was resolved through talking alone, and the villagers actually agreed to the dam project. Actual construction on the dam had begun a few years ago, and apparently construction vehicles were a constant source of traffic on the village's wider roads. And the eviction deadline was set at the end of April next year, so more than a few families had begun moving out in advance. On closed shop shutters had a worn paper notice on it. On it was written, "Our deepest gratitude for our many years of our patronage." Despite a few other notes with a post to the dam on them, but those had deteriorated over time and silent indication that the dam war was a thing of the past now. I don't think all of the kids in class are moving into the public house, and Stucco's Chance family is supposedly moving somewhere else. It's a little lonely to think we won't be able to see all our friends after next year. Me, the villager was born and grew up in being submerged was very sad, but all my classmates enjoying this day to the fullest, even though they knew that seemed so strong to me, and if the damn war never took place, that would cause several other effects. For example, the relationship between the Sonozaki and the Hojo families at the beginning of the dam conflict, the Hojos declared themselves in favor of the dam with the Sonozakis in opposition, and the former ended up escaping with the village for a long time, but that trouble never occurred in this world. Stokoe-chan's family, I don't know. I think they're normal. I don't think they have much particular in common with Min-chan's family. Does Satoko belong with her family? What do you mean her father? Even without the damn conflict, the presence of his stepfather would be a burden on Stokoe's mind. And with the L5 symptoms appearing, she would push him from the viewing platform at the park and be given into the character, while she's aunt and uncle. Oops. And because their stepfather's presence would be a very gateway to Stokoe's later unfortunate life. When I think about it now, maybe their awkwardness with each other at first made a good memory. They are connected by blood, so they tried hard to be father and daughter, and maybe now they have a stronger bond than she would with their biological parents. I've talked to them a bunch of times, but he's a good person that works hard to support his family. You mean Satoko's current father? Yeah, what you meant in this world now that dies threatening Satoko to come up on a one. For Satoko, did that make this world a happy place for her? My walk-on with Rena was very significant for me understanding this world, and I found out that this world's composition betrayed every last bit of my common sense. The reason Rena wasn't Rena, that was different from the very start. First, the Regu family didn't move to Ibaraki. They had lived in Missoula this entire time. Her mother was still working as a designer at a small company in the city. Her father had switched careers and now was a salesman for his wife's designs. The couple must have been on good terms for one to design things and the other to sell them. As always, her mother's position seemed to be stronger, but the relationship was an average one, and divorce at the very least seemed impossible. They made a nice, peaceful family for Irina that satisfied her fully, and she even said that she lived a happy life. The fact that she knew that without going through hardships, though, she really was still Irina. I asked about the Takano clinic too. It was as the big Dr. Yamamoto had said. The Takano of Takano clinic was indeed the one who had been Mio Takano's adopted grandfather, Ifumi Takano. Right after the war, he built a surprisingly grand clinic in Inamizawa, which had no doctors and became a celebrity to the villagers. I learned that there was a moment dedicated to Takano in the place of the one dedicated to Irie in the worlds I knew. After Takano's passing, there was nobody to succeed his place in the clinic, and for a long time it had been left empty. That was when a man from Okonomiya named Yamamoto arrived and breathed new life into the clinic. Takano had discovered the Himizawa syndrome and searched for research sponsors but found none. And eventually, Mio Takano would succeed him, but what if the older Takano had found a sponsor? Neither Mio Takano nor Ari would appear, and the Takano clinic being built right after the war would make sense, which meant that Takano in this world had been blessed with good dice rolls. At this point, I had a vague idea about something. Weren't these dice rolls the exact opposite of the ones from the world I knew well? The people themselves had been changed at all, but the dice of God had cast for these people were all reversed. So it made sense that it had turned into such a strange world for me. I learned one more thing from talking to Irina, too. In this world, I had no friends. I was all alone. Kichi never transferred to her school. We didn't have a club, and Satoko had no connection to me. So maybe it was only natural. At that point, I finally realized why Irina had sympathized with me going home alone and done her going home club activities with me. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow, huh? Oh, I see. For a moment, I was confused when she said goodbye since we weren't from the temple, but I quickly understood. We were in front of their Friday main house. Since the colonel never appeared, there was no Iron Institute nor any research into humans always syndrome, and so my parents never died. At first, my parents cooperated with their researchers, but when I fell ill with the high fever one day, they stopped cooperating, had some kind of trouble, and were assassinated. My mother was the hysterical type. When she made a fuss, settling her down took a while. Because she made a fuss, your institute which wanted to do research in secret. Naturally wanted to make sure she didn't talk. She had such an attitude even knowing how shady the institute was, so in a sense I couldn't deny that she reaped what she sowed. In any case, no matter how many times I did this over, no matter how many times I warned her, it never worked, and I had to resign myself to the fact that I no longer have any parents by 1981. And I repeated it many times. I see my parents for dozens of years in total, so I was fed up with them. We weren't on good terms to begin with anyway, and now in June of 1983 they were here again. I'm taking a sip of my drink. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye. Goodbye. Nipa. After seeing Raina off, I looked at my real home. I saw my mother patting down a giant futon in the yard. In normal worlds, they would always die, but in this one, they were alive the whole time. I found myself unsure of how to talk to my real mother. That Eureka, welcome home. Meep, I'm home. Go wash your hands, rinse out your mouth, and then get your books ready for tomorrow. Did you get any homework? Yes, she was my mother, all right. Honestly speaking, I wasn't used to the Fruiting main house. It was my true home, but it had only ever been my home before 1983, like a prison of time while I waited in a melancholy for the day Kichi transferred here. But Kichi wouldn't transfer here, my parents wouldn't die, which meant in this world I would never get out of this prison. But maybe that was a weird way to think about it. Without a dead end fate, there was no victory or defeat, no destiny or miracles. This was my actual home. It was nothing more and nothing less. I went to my room, put down my book bag, and took a breath. Usually, when I was by myself, Handy would appear, but in this world, she hadn't shown up. How long are you planning on wasting my time? Hurry up and appear and take me back to my original world. I know. By now, this world was odd and filled with what ifs. I had it up to here with my exploration of this alternate universe. But Handy didn't appear. Oh, that's right. Handy was by herself in the original storehouse a lot. Maybe she was there right now. In any case, whatever else happened, I just wanted to see Hanyu. I put on my shoes and ran towards the shrine. As I turned my back on my annoying mother, who called after me asking if I really rinsed my mouth. In a world where my father was alive, it was hard to get the key to the storehouse, but thanks to the innumerable worlds I've been through, I found a way to get into the storehouse without it. I could hear the elders having a pleasant talk in assembly hall, my father's last mixed in with theirs. My father hated me ever going near the original storehouse while considering what it stored. I could sort of understand why he wouldn't want his beloved daughter inside it. After making sure nobody was looking, I climbed a tree growing behind the storehouse. My climb didn't go as smoothly as when Satoko showed me she could do it. In any case, I crawled up stubbornly and jumped down into the storehouse roof. I was a little scared of jumping. I climbed pretty high off ground, even a centenarian which can't escape the danger of heights. If I recall right, there was a broken lattice window on the roof and you could get in and out through there. This world was betraying all my expectations and giving me the exact opposite. I considered that maybe you couldn't go in and out through it anymore. But in the place that Tucker once told me about, it was broken just like she said, and a child would be able to fit inside. Even trivial things like this were a relief. Maybe just the sun setting in the west would be a relief to me right now. Because in this world, it could always set in the east. Yes, this discomfort I felt at having to doubt everything made me feel dizzy and sick. And you? And you? Are you there? No answer. I was too afraid to call out again because maybe if I did, I still wouldn't get an answer. For me personally, Henry not existing in this world was one of the one dice roll that couldn't happen. And you, and I felt something I couldn't describe. The presence of someone, but not a person. Something only I could perceive as the presence of Hanyu. But Hanyu always answered me when I called for her. She wasn't now. What did that mean? But she was here. She was. I couldn't help poking my head through the roof. I climbed on a bundle of hanging chains and entered. Hanyu, where are you? Answer me. Rika, where are you? This time I heard her for sure. There was no doubt. Hanyu, I'm right here. Where are you? I can't see you at all. Rika, Rika, answer me. Hanyu's feeble words implied she was actually the one who couldn't hear my voice. I looked for a place where I could hear her better. Before I realized it, I went to the altar in front of the holy vessel. Something that looked like a small crystal ball was on the altar, and I sensed it giving off a faint light. That was where Handy's voice seemed to be coming from. The ball was about the size of a large toy marble, but it was seated respectfully on a small cushion, which told me it was no ordinary stone. I took my crystal ball and pressed it into my ear. Rika, if you can hear me, please answer again. Rika, Rika, there was no doubt I was hearing Handy's voice in this crystal ball, and it sounded like it was searching for me, growing more distant all the while. Hang you, I can hear you. It's me, Rika. I'm right here. Rika, Rika, I can hear your voice. Where are you? I can't find you. Your voice is so distant. I don't understand. Please call louder. I'm here. I'm right here. Why can't I hear your voice from this crystal ball? Wait, no, that's not important. I'm right here, right on the altar in the storehouse. Hang you, hang you. I can hear your voice. I'm searching for you now. Please don't let go of the fragment. Keep on calling my name louder. I'm here. I'm hang you. Come, hurry. Hang you, hang you. Oh, I kept shouting her name as if I got mad. It was like clinging to a tin can telephone right before the string snapped. Penny's voice cut off in the middle. She left me behind alone in the darkness of the storehouse. That was scarier than anything I could imagine. So she told me to shout her name over and over again. Henry had been searching for me by listening for my voice. I didn't know what her situation was, but it seemed like Henry and I were far away from one another, that we were immeasurably distant. And the crystal ball's light strength, I knew she was coming closer. At first, the light I see from had been faint, but now it was bright, as a weak miniature light bulb, but I could barely see it shining. Rika, what's going on? I can't enter the world you're in. What? What are you saying? I'm the one who needs help here. I don't care how, just come here. Take me out of this world. Rika, please listen carefully. For some reason, your world rejects me. This should be impossible, given that she's both a paranormal existence and a deity. I can't imagine any situation that would make her anxious enough for her to weakly say, this is impossible. All I could do is keep on willing half insanely for her to do something, anything. But I can't do anything. Oh, this is the first time. This is impossible. Stop acting so miserable and hurry up and do something already. Anything. I can't, Rika. Your world is giving off a power that rejects me. If you don't do something about that, then there's nothing I can do. Stop saying these things that make no sense. What do you mean a power that rejects you? You're a deity. That can't be. You're right, it can't be, but there is no fragment on this side, so I can't line up the pieces. I don't know how, but the fragment is lost somewhere in your world. Fragment? What do you mean? Explain it so I can understand. I'll do anything I can. Teaching you to act so deranged won't help you with anything. I managed to figure out what Haney wanted to say, and now I knew I had to eliminate the obstacle. This situation utterly escaped me, but it seemed like if I didn't do something, you couldn't appear in front of me. I'm sorry for losing my composure. I'll calm down now, so please explain again what on earth is going on. Rika, I don't know why this is, but part of a fragment which should be in the world of the gods seems to be lost in the world you're in right now. As an analogy, it's like if the key you need to unlock a door being locked inside that realm. What's a fragment? What appears as the world you call is a fragment and in the higher dimensions. We've been connecting those fragments like a jigsaw puzzle to walk between worlds. I think I understand the analogy. The world I'm in now is a fragment, a piece of a jigsaw puzzle, but something happened to the part that connects to the rest and it won't fit with the pieces around it, right? That's right, that's missing pieces always has to be on this side. But now for some reason it's on that side instead. The fragment should be in the world of the gods, but for some reason it fell into the human world and now it's missing. That's about right. Wow. Alright, I just have to do something about that fragment, right? I'll do what you say. Where is that fragment and what should I do with it? This is really kind of me out. Where is the fragment thing? What does it look like? I don't know. What? How am I supposed to search for it if you don't know? I don't understand either. From here, I can only hear your voice. I can't interfere at all with the world I am in now. But if it's called a fragment, then will it look like a glowing piece of crystal like this? I think that's probably right, but I can't even imagine what shape it would take if something that belonged in the higher dimension ended up in the human world. I felt all the energy drained out of me and I beat aside. We don't even know what it looks like. This is the worst. Anyway, it would. If I do find out, what would I do? How would I get it back into the world of the gods? Well, you don't even know that. I'm sorry. This is the first time this has happened. I don't really know either. I laughed mostly at myself, but before I realized that I couldn't stop tears falling. After getting sent to this crazy world, I don't even know how to get back. Today of all days, I was in such high spirits, going to the point my friends that tiny fragment of happy days would all finally attained after escaping the dead end of June 1983. Just because I was messing around on the way back just a little, I got sent to this horrible world. But if I want to complain about that in the end, it's my own fault for not being careful on the road, isn't it? Ah, wow. I noticed my balance on my bicycle got thrown up and it fell into the car there. A common traffic accident, a common death of a child. It just happened to be me this time. If you try one after hundreds of years now, just because of that, everything was in pieces. I could well I want, but the only thing I fault is my own carelessness. In fact, I should be thankful to Henry for letting me live, but sending me to a world like this is too cruel. No, I wasn't so Henry sent me here because she wanted to. I know that. I know that. It's like you remember, Rika, our power has been wearing away, and with the last of that power, we reached our victory. So we were never supposed to be able to use it again. You mean you used that power to save me? Yes, there was nothing else I could do. Rika, your body flew off your bike, and if the dice had come up better, you might have fallen on the car and made it out injured but alive. But you were unlucky when you flew off. You landed right in front of the car's tires. From Henry's words, color of sadness, it felt like she watched me fly off and get run over by the car and die. Everyone had their mouths wide open in a daze. The car's brakes screeched as it crashed into the guardrail, but nobody was listening. And then, Satoko, she ran over to you, but you looked. Your face was gone. The car crushed my head flat. She was always talking about this, wasn't she? Never want playing the road. I can imagine the rest of the story without Henry telling me. That fun day we had was wiped out in an instant, but my career was fooling around. We dove together into the longest June 1983 of these past 100 years, and the peaceful future we finally reached through the sharing of countless marigolds was wiped out in an instant. My corpse was too horrible to look at, so Toko came running over first, and then everyone else came, and they all wished they'd wake up from that nightmare until they lost all hope, broke down, and wept. Compared to that heart-splitting sadness, the one who was actually careless, grumbling about wanting to go home since this world was uncomfortable, counted for nothing. That meant in the end it was all my own fault. I struggled through so many years to reach that future, and I carelessly lost it by nobody's fault but my own, and I was blessed since Henry was here for me, so I should be thankful. Because if that had happened to someone other than me, they'd just lose their life and nothing more. Just the fact that there was hope, even if it was only a single tiny ray, surely that was fortunate. Thanks. Ow. Idiots die in accidents and carelessness all the time in Japan, and I was one of them. I should have just died without complaints, but thanks to you, even though things have gotten strange, I'm alive. And I'm sure it will be really, really hard, but there's still a way to return to that world. Let's review. To bring me back to the original world, Hanyu, you need to come here, right? Yes, of course. I want to return to the original world with you, Rika. Naturally, we won that world after over 100 years of struggle. We're going back. I would spend another 100 years to do it. I won't lose. I won't lose heart just for fooling around with on the road and being sentenced to it. Another 100 years. That won't make me cry. Rika, even in the world beyond, everyone is praying for you. They're praying that even if it costs them their lives, that you turn back time and make it so that accident never happened. I think those prayers were why I was able to find you, Rika. In this storehouse in which I could only smoke dust, I thought of the scent of incense, and I couldn't see it or hear it, but somehow I knew it was my funeral, and I thought I could hear them. My friends heartbroken grieving over my coffin, their cries were incredibly sad. So sad, so painful, as though it would tear me apart. I understood my carelessness. It had destroyed not only my life, but everyone else's happiness. I'll go back. I'm going back. I will return to that world no matter what. No matter how narrow the path may be, I'll do it. I'll go back for sure. Ooh, my tears full of sadness mixed with determination and mixed with saltiness dropped to the floor. Rika had being locked in that world is the same as a dead end of 1983. It may look like an inescapable fate, but you absolutely can't escape it. I know. Kichi taught me that. And even Takano taught me too. Fate was thinner than a goldfish scooping net, and strong enough feelings can reshape the future. That's right, Rika. That's the spirit. Maybe it was because of your carelessness, but you've been given the chance to atone for it and make it go away. That's a really, really lucky thing. I know normal people would be starting over in their next lives, but I let alone got one last chance. I know what that means. Rika, I want you to somehow find the fragment rejecting me. I'll see if I can figure anything out in this world. I'll have to make do without any hands. Also, as long as you are in this world, if I die here, that's the end, right? Yes, my power doesn't affect the world right now, so please, Rika, be really careful. I know, I'll never fool around on the road again. We don't have any hints, but I'm this village's deity, and this village is all I ever watched over. If this power can interfere with me, then I take the power. Must be in the village too. Somewhere in this village, if it has anything to do with you, to be honest, I think it would be in this original implement storehouse. Because there anything in that storehouse that isn't in the usual worlds? I don't know, I can't tell right away. There's no proof that it would be obvious, right? But it's enough to interfere with me, Rika. You would have stepped at the places incredibly close to the world of the gods before, so you might be able to sense it. Another thing to worry about, I don't think anything on this altar, including this crystal ball, has changed at least. But this is a strange crystal ball. It is interesting, but a mere marble isn't displaying such an important place. Right now you're holding the Fruity Shrine treasure, the Kamu no Mikoto no Ring. Long ago, when I performed a miracle at the Fruity Shrine, I left it there as proof. After such a long time, most of the power inside is gone. But luckily for us, it's the only source of power I have that affects you. If I had more power, or I could rebel against it, I might be able to go to the world you're in. Which means I'll be able to talk to you with this crystal ball for a limited time. Yes, Rika, can you hear my voice from here? Your voice sounds like it's slowly fading away. I get it. It's like a transceiver about to run out of battery power. Alright, I won't contact you unless it's important. That way we could talk for a little bit longer, right? Probably. Then that's enough. I'll rummage around the storehouse now. It could be hidden anywhere if it's the same size as this crystal ball, and if it's not, and it might not be in the storehouse either. I'm going to need preservers for this job. Rika, please do your best. All I can do is stay here and cheer you, and even the words I can use for that are limited now. It's fine. Mark my words. I'll open the door to this world and invite you in. I promise we'll go back to that fun world together. So do your best too. If you learn anything that could be a clue, tell me. I will. That's it. I'm gonna stop talking now. See you again, and you. I will. I promise. Once we get back to the last world, I'll fill the refrigerator with cream puffs for you. I'll look forward to that promise. His voice gently vanished like water seeping into sand. But that didn't mean Henry vanished. It was like I was talking to Henry on a public phone and my 10 yen ran out. We may have been in different worlds, but we were cooperating, trying to get out of this world and back to the last one. When I thought about it, Henry had always been an ally in my life. In this world, that ally was gone. Maybe that was a fitting punishment for wasting my life being careless. To get back to the last world, I would pile up as many stones as I need to, for those were the banks of the river Styx. Nirvana, from my viewpoint, as one who had lost her life in the previous world. But I'll get back, I swear I'll get back there. Then suddenly the inside of the storehouse brightened. Someone had just turned on the switch with a naked bulb hanging from the ceiling. Then, as the heavy clank, the door opened. My father appeared there. His face was like a demon's. That's right. I entered the coordinate virtual implement storehouse. I only received directives to the storehouse when I succeeded them as the head of the Friedrich family. In other words, in the world with my parents alive, I wasn't allowed to come here. Rika, how did you get in here? How many times have I told you not to enter the storehouse? My father was enraged, thanks to the property imprinted into the one's very genes that make children tremble when their father looks at them with a scary face. I reflectively cringe with fear. He grabbed me by the back of my neck and took me outside, and then I ended up being disciplined, something I've forgotten for a very long time. My parents being here is such a bother. Just when I thought I'd been lucky that they made it through the year 1981, they're getting in the way of me returning to the final world. In the storehouse, I've been shouting his name pretty loudly, so you probably noticed. I will investigate the storehouse for real tomorrow, but I have to take extreme caution so that my father didn't find me. In the middle of the night, unable to sleep face up on my futon because of the rear end swelled up from all the spanking, I bit my pillow and cried again. Then I thought about back over what I had to do. This was my room. This was my futon, but this isn't where I was supposed to sleep. The futon I was supposed to go home to was in a small house on the second floor of the renovated warehouse, the one next to Totoko's. But in this world, the youth group was probably still using it as a meeting place, so my futon obviously wouldn't be there. Then what futon was I supposed to use in this world? Punishment for doing something stupid and careless, bringing the future we all wanted to nothing. I needed to find out what was keeping Henny away so I could call her here. It would take a lot of effort. For that reason, I needed to build up my energy and get some sleep. Shedding tears was nothing but a waste of time and stamina. I knew that, but until I fall asleep, I whipped into my pillow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my tired throat going to end the video. Thanks for anyone who actually watched. Um, and I don't know. My mouse dead? I don't know. It was turned on, but it wasn't doing nothing. Anyways, I'll see y'all later.